Malantai said, don't ask me about water, ask my animals to drink water. And Malantai argued, I am not going to allow you to
Ready?
prick the chip in my
Let me start.
buffalo's
Okay.
ear, because
Good
when
morning,
my
one and
buffalo
all.
gives
I,
milk,
Dr. Farooq
she never
Sheikh,
asks me,
welcome
I
you
give
all on
milk.
behalf of Saulina Kishore Mamidwar Institute of Management Studies and Research, Kosara, Chandrapur. Today, our institute has organized, in association with District Industries Center, Chandrapur, one-day webinar on entrepreneurship as a panacea to economic development during COVID-19 pandemic. I'm very much happy to welcome our beloved Honorable Shri Ramesh Pant Mamidwar, renowned Chartered Accountant, Vice President of Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandals, Chandrapur, and President of the program. I'm glad to welcome today's speaker, Dr. Meena Galliara from Narsimanji Institute of Management Studies and Dr. Bharti Jadhav from Bharti Vidyapit, Pune. I also welcome Honorable Shri Swapnil R. Rathod, General Manager DIC Chandrapur and Chief Guest of the program. I am glad to welcome Honorable Dr. J.N. Chakravorty, Principal of Saulina Kishore Mamidwar Institute of Management Studies and Research, Kosara. May I now request Honorable Dr. J.N. Chakravorty, Principal of the Institute, for introductory speech.
Thank you, Farooq. Very good morning to all the dignitaries. Today's President of the function, Honorable Shri Ramesh Pant Mamidwar, renowned Chartered Accountant of the region and Vice President of Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandal Chandrapur. Honorable Shri Swapnil R. Rathod, who is the Chief Guest of today's function and a General Manager of GIC Chandrapur. My very close associate, Dr. Meena Galliara, who will be a resource person from Narsimanji Institute of Management Studies and Research, Mumbai. Dr. Bharti Jadhav from Bharti Vidyapit, Pune. All the organizing committee, including convener, Dr. Niyaj Sheikh, and all IQAC team members. It is an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this one-day national webinar on entrepreneurship as a panacea to economic development during the times of COVID-19 pandemic. Dear friends, I would like to say that, as you know, that the central government has given a fundamental concepts of becoming self-reliant. Now, the institute, as a main objectives of organizing such kind of seminar, is basically to promote students or to encourage them to undertake an entrepreneurship as their profession. And in a times of COVID pandemic 19, after that there will be a slow down of an economy. As we are all aware, there will be a less generation of employment among the globe. So we as an MBNs, we as a student, we can see an entrepreneurship as one of a best career options, and we can opt to become a successful entrepreneur. I would like to gladly announce that after a successful completion of various events by our institute, lastly we have conducted the recent event of one-day national webinar on librarians. So I was very happy to invite the librarians from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and the librarian from Indian Institute of Science. So in the days to come, we'll be organizing such various events on behalf of our institutes. I'm too glad that on 28th of August again, we are hosting one more event of an international conference on global business, which will give again an edge to our students to undertake an entrepreneurship as a career. I'm glad that Dr. Meena Galliara, Madam, is with us. She is having enriched experience in social enterprises, in corporate social responsibility. I was very fortunate to attend one of the FDP program being organized by Narsimanji Institute, Mumbai, in 2002, where I have got an opportunity to hear Dr. Meena Galliara, ma'am. So her experience, her expertise, her knowledge, her way of delivering the session will really give an edge to today's program. I'm too glad that Dr. Bharti Jadhav, she is with us today from Bharti Vidyapit Pune. Her expertise is also in entrepreneurship. She will be basically focusing on startup, and I feel that many students of an MBA may take up these COVID times as an opportunity, and accordingly they will opt uh, to for a startup, maybe after an COVID phase. And today, as we are organizing this event in collaboration with District Industrial Center, that is local DIC, and I am very glad that Honorable Shri Swapnil R. Rathod, who is the General Manager of DIC Chandrapur, has given his kind consent, and he is quite cooperative and always, kind of support he has extended to our institute, and he is very much helpful to the students also. And in collaboration with DIC, we are undergoing many projects also. And in the days to come, I think our students will undertake some minor projects in collaboration with DIC. So without taking much of your time, I am very much thankful, and again welcome all the participants. I would like to loudly announce that 650 participants has been participated in this event, and mostly the participants are from Bangladesh, Nigeria, Russia, Iraq, Sri Lanka, Australia, and of course our nation India. So among these, 200 participants are from the other country. So I wholeheartedly welcome them to this platform of entrepreneurship development program, and hope that they will be getting benefit from our resource person. And the outcome, I expect the outcome of these seminar will be in a days to come. We can see the faculties being more motivating the students to take up an entrepreneurship and fulfill the vision of India, that is to becoming Atmanirbhar. Thanks for patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Honorable Shri Swapnil R. Rathod, General Manager DIC Chandrapur and Chief Guest of the program for guidance. Swapnil, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Farooq, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes, sir, you are-
Rathod, General Manager DIC Chandrapur. First of all, I am very thankful to all of you, especially Chakravorty sir, Maharashtra sir, and Riyad sir for inviting me in this seminar. Actually, fortunately, I am in the unit where the unit has been just starting their operation. I am in Kombuna Taluka, which is far away from 50 kilometers from Chandrapur. So this is a unit where around 127 ladies have come together and established a cluster, which is called a Agarbatti cluster. Now government has announced a very good initiative, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat, for making agarbattis. Our annual demand is around 1500 metric ton, and the supply is only 750 metric ton per annum. So who will fill this gap? Because all these bamboos, the stick of agarbattis have been coming from, have been importing from China. So we are lagging in this manufacturing of these agarbattis. Just say bamboos. There are plenty bamboos in the Chandrapur district. But due to lack of some clarity or any other problems, due to some problems, we could not churn out this bamboo. So what we should do now? That is the main problem we are facing now. Like in this scenario, in this epidemic scenario, many youths have lost their job. So what will you do nowadays? That is the main problem. So my suggestion to all the listeners that just come out and start a new business, which will be very helpful to you in your in future. So just like where I am standing, where I am sitting now, this unit has been set up just 6 months back. Now I just come here. I just have come to here to inspect where what they have done. Around 127 ladies have come together and they started this unit. And kids are from the villages only and first time entrepreneurs. And even these ladies are not educated now. They are just pass out from school and have just completed 10th or 12th. Just so see what they have created. It's a just very good unit. I am not able to show the entire area, but you can judge their potential. So my request to everyone, to all of you, that just start your own business or come out with your own ideas. DIC is in the forefront of generating first generation entrepreneurs since last 3-4 decades. So we will be there. We will always be there to help you out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. May I now request Honorable Shri Ramesh Pant Mamidwar, sir, renowned chartered accountant and Vice President of Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandal Chandrapur and President of the program, for presidential speech. Mamidwar, sir.
Thank you, Farooq sir.
Welcome, sir.
Are you able to listen me? Audible?
Yes, sir.
I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable Chief Guest and Honorable Speakers and the Principal of this college. It gives me immense pleasure that Sabhagyavati Leena Kishore Mamidwar Institute of Management Studies and Research has organized a national level seminar on a very important topic. For this seminar, Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Swapnil Rathod, General Manager, DIC Chandrapur, Honorable Speakers, Dr. Meena, Galliara, and Dr. Bharti Jadhav, and Principal of this college, Niyaj Chakravorty, and the organizing committee members and the participants. First of all, I congratulate Dr. Niyaj Chakravorty, Principal, Sabhagyavati Leena Kishore Mamidwar Institute of Management Studies and Research, Chandrapur, in collaboration jointly with DIC Chandrapur, for organizing this national web seminar on very important topic, that is entrepreneurship as a panacea to economic development during the times of COVID-19. In fact, this seminar is going to be beneficial not only for the students, but also for the entrepreneurs, those who are working and facing some problems in running the business because of this COVID-19 problem. Coronavirus, also called COVID-19, has caused crisis for global economy and markets with escalating number of confirmed cases globally. The World Health Organization has declared the virus to be a global pandemic, meaning that it will have a sustained global impact. Many countries' economies already were showing before the pandemic, and now COVID-19 threatens to push them into a steep recession. It pushed the Indian stock market immediately into bear market territory in March. While the market regained much of those losses, unemployment remains high and GDP growth looks like it will be severely impacted across the globe. In such a scenario, it is very important for the business to have a good entrepreneurship so that one can sustain in such pandemic situation and so that business can overcome the difficult situation. In response to this crisis, government and central banks worldwide have enacted sweeping and sizable fiscal and monetary stimulus measures to counteract the disruption caused by the coronavirus. Just now, our chief guest today has elaborately spoke about the Agarbatti unit, which is started by the initiative of then Honorable Finance Minister Shri Sudhir Mungantiwar. It has started probably, I don't know, but last year, and as said by our chief guest Mr. Rathod, about 127 ladies are working in that project, and there is good scope and good market for this Agarbatti unit. So there are various units which can be started, and government has given a lot of measures to relax, to start the new industries, particularly provision of moratorium period up to 31st August 20. Those who are already in business, additional 20% finance provided with government guarantee and no collateral security on outstanding loan accounts as on 29 February 2020. Postponement of due dates of GST and IT returns. Waiver in late fees of GST returns. Faster refund process for IT returns for financial year 18-19. Reduction in rates of TDS in respect of expenditure incurred so that maximum amount of money can be utilized by businesses. 50% of interest rate of reduction for late payment of TDS. Like this, these are various measures which government has offered to boost up the entrepreneurs and to start the new industries also. Finally, the entrepreneurs have realized one final fact that the COVID pandemic has demonstrated that when you are over-reliant on global supply chains, when something like that happens, you are truly exposed to various uncertainties, and hence the one should be self-reliant and should have alternative options to handle such situation. Now I can say young firms born out of entrepreneurship today are our country's large employers tomorrow. Finally, we need to create more positive attitudes to our entrepreneurial activities to overcome such pandemic situation. Sir, these are certain things which I found that I should speak on this seminar as a president of the seminar. I am sure that all participants in this national webinar will be definitely benefited by this seminar. I am thankful to the principal, Saubhagavati Leena Kishore Mamidwar, Institute of Management Studies and Research, for inviting me to chair the seminar as president of the seminar. And I wish this web seminar as a grand success and expect to arrange many more seminars on various important topics, which already the institute is doing and they will be doing in future. Thanks again to all. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Before going further, I just need to give the vote of thanks to our guest. I'm very much thankful to Honorable Swapnil Rathod, sir, General Manager, DIC Chandrapur, for his guidance and his valuable time. And I'm also very much thankful to Honorable Shri Ramesh Pant Mamidwar, sir, renowned Chartered Accountant and Vice President of Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandal Chandrapur and President of the program. From his busy schedule, he has given us time and he has given such a nice guidance from Honorable Shri Ramesh Pant Mamidwar, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I am also thankful to our Honorable Dr. J. N. Chakravorty, sir, Principal of the Institute, for organizing such a nice webinar. Thank you so much, sir. Now we will begin with the first session of the entrepreneurship as a Panacea to economic development with Dr. Meena Galliara, Narsimhanji Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai. Before we start the session, I would like to introduce today's first speaker, Dr. Meena Galliara from Narsimanji Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai, Jhansi Center of Sustainability Management and Social Entrepreneurship at Narsimanji Institute of Management Studies, and pioneer of social entrepreneurship education in India, has been nominated by Work Hard Foundation for Education Icon of India. Her honors and awards: Work Hard Foundation Education Popular Awards, Work Hard Foundation, November 2016. Recipient of Bharat Jyoti Award conferred by India International Friends Society for contribution to social entrepreneurship, education and practice 2012. Recipient of the Best Professor in Business Strategy, Asia Best B School Award, Asia CMO Council 2010. Recipient of the Devang Mehta Best Teacher in Social Enterprise Category Award 2009. Recipient of the Golden Peacock Award in the category of Social Innovation 2008. Recipient of the Best Department Award NIMS 2008. Recipient of the Best Paper Award organized by TISS 2007. Recipient of the Best Case Study Award National Research Paper Contest organized by NIMS 2006 and 2007. Recipient of the Best Faculty Award Bombay Management Association 2005. Recipient of the Best Faculty Award NIMS 2005. May I now request Honorable Dr. Meena Galliara ma'am to continue with the session.
Okay, thank you so much. And with respect to all the dignitaries who are present over here, the president of the organization, the principal, all the colleagues, professional colleagues, Dr. Bharti Sadhav, actually she should have come first because entrepreneurship and then the social entrepreneurship. But since I have some lecture commitments from 2 o'clock onwards, so Bharti, I would, go first. Okay, though sequentially you should have come first. So you will have to tweak your presentation a little bit more, okay, towards the thing. So I'll just put up my my slides so that we can take this thing ahead. Yeah. Okay, I hope you're able to see the slides.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So to begin with, I'm going to talk about, because I'm associated with the social sector and the NGOs are increasingly moving towards adopting social entrepreneurship and looking at how social entrepreneurship and market-driven solutions can address problems of the country and that of the global economy. So if you look at this beautiful picture, which is done by an artist, okay, who has depicted the problems of the world, including India, and you find that NGOs are increasingly struggling in order to address the issues of bringing social change, whether they are in the areas of education or whether they are in the areas of livelihood or in the areas of healthcare. And you find a pigeon which represents the NGO sector, which is trying to improvise the quality of life of the people in general, and those below the bottom of the pyramid in particular. So the entire role of NGOs has been in terms of improving the quality of life of the people by concentrating on specific programs and specific projects which can actually help the poor to lead a better life. If you look at specifically the Indian scenario, we have a lot of inequities, and I borrow these figures from the Oxfam report, which talks about India's richest 1% is holding 4 times the wealth held by 953 million people who make up for the bottom 70% of the country's population. So the income inequities explains the reasons for poverty, or explains the reason for the resource gaps which we identify in the nation. And if you look at the total wealth of 63 Indian billionaires is higher than the total union budget of India for the fiscal 2018-19. So this shows the type of the economic inequities, which further will widen the gap of the social inequities which are there. You have important indices which you can take into consideration, like the Human Development Index, where India is lying in the bottom 50 of the world. We have 129 rank. Though globally we talk about becoming the economic superpower in the coming years, but you have the countries hosting more hungry people in the world. We are ranking highest on that, and our rank is around 102 out of 117 countries. So more hungry people in the country does not do any good to the industry also, because hunger will cascade into lack of education, lack of health, lack of productivity, lack of skills. So these are important indices which NGOs are trying to change. And the biggest problem which is actually surmounting is the level of unemployment which is existing in the country. And because of COVID, the latest figures, which if you can see, that in May 2020, the unemployment rate overall in India was 23.48%. So you look at that, if more and more people remain unemployed, they become liability on the country. And obviously the taxpayers will have to increase their payment of taxes, which they are not very happy about it. And so one will have to look at that how this is going to impact the NGOs, because obviously with the changes in the legal framework and changes in ATG and other type of exemptions which are there, NGOs will have a funding crisis coming up in the near future. So if NGOs have to create social impact, and if they are facing resource deficit, and if they have to create resource surplus in order to address to the problems of the country, they would find that there are entrepreneurs who are coming up with market-driven solutions. And if they are coming in form of startups, they are addressing problems of sanitation, they are addressing problems of alternative sources of energy, they are looking at education, they are looking at whole sort of things in a for-profit mode, which is there. And so this growth of market-driven solutions to social problems, the investors are more interested in the social enterprises than compared to the traditional approaches which were adopted by the NGOs to be dependent on government grants and on donors to fund them, and then they would start proceeding. So the social contract between the funders and between the NGOs, between the NGOs and the government, between the NGOs and the academia is undergoing a significant amount of change. And if these donor expectations are changing, where they are looking out for social impact plus financial sustainability of the NGOs have no choice but look at the broader funding base. That how can you create a much better funding base than being dependent on single donors or a single funding agency. So there is a need for mindset which has come across the leading NGOs, where they have said that traditional approaches were good because the context were different, where we were in a different market. But with markets opening up, there is the NGO dependency on donor funding has to be reduced, because in the global world, we are looking at market-driven solutions and not that solutions which only government can propose or some funding agencies can propose. In this context, NGOs are forced to think creatively and act independently. So there is a paradigm shift where the donors are no longer using the word charity, they are using the word called investment. And with this investment, there is a return. There is a return which is expected, and this return is both on social impact as well as looking at the financial sustainability. You require an entrepreneurial lens in handling social issues, because for an entrepreneur, he looks at the opportunity and not at the problem. So he looks at the unmet need which is there. So in the social sector, the unmet need is of education, the unmet need is of sanitation, the unmet need is of health. So you look at the unmet need, your mission is to bring about social change to address those unmet needs, but with an enterprise management skills, or strategies, or innovations. So a lot of social innovations have to be happening at the bottom of the pyramid, and NGOs are instrumental in promoting these types of social innovation and giving an entrepreneurial orientation. So the whole concept that NGOs are moving towards recognizing that social problems can be addressed using a business skill sets, and you can achieve the desirable social change. So businesses, when they bring their products or services in the market, they are instrumental in bringing that social change. A simple example, if I may give, washing machines in our home have changed the relationship between the family members and the home helpers. A simple device like a roti making machine has changed the relationship between the husband and wife. So any entrepreneurial product that comes in the market has a potential to bring about social change, and social entrepreneurship in particular emphasizes that you are bringing a package of resources to exploit an opportunity. So an opportunity like addressing the issue of open defecation through portable toilets is an opportunity for an entrepreneur to look at that how he can create that social impact along with the financial sustainability aspects. So the social returns as well as the financial sustainability is the crux on which NGOs are actually moving along this particular size of a momentum. So the push and pull factors, if you would see and address it from Michael Porter's 5 forces, you find the push factors is basically the economic recession in 2008, where there are researches which indicate that the amount of charity that came in or the funding that came in from individual donors and the corporate world has significantly reduced. That was the first blow which was there to the NGO sector. And subsequently, governments have also been reducing subsidies to the NGOs because a whole lot of problems are coming up and the same amount of fund has to be distributed to various people. So money from child welfare or money from women's economic empowerment or money from alternative sources of energy to promote that is now being given to different sectors of priority which is there. So the government has to manage its stakeholders very well with the same amount of kitty that comes to it. So NGOs are forced to think that how do we address this unmet need which is there? And if this unmet need has to be addressed in a market-driven solution, NGOs are looking at that opportunity, especially because there's a lot of intellectual capital which is favoring these days on inclusive growth. There are young people who are thinking about how do I create a profitable venture when I'm actually addressing the social problems of the world. There's a lot of outsourcing which is happening from the developed nations to emerging economies like us in the areas of embroidery, in the areas of textile, in the areas of organic food, in the areas of developing low cost healthcare centers, in the areas of developing frill-free maternity homes. So these things, there are investors who are looking at these types of gaps which are there. And at the bottom of the pyramid, globally, you have 428 million people. So this is a huge market. I'm not just talking about India, I'm talking about the world market which is there. And this market is ready to pay you some price which is there. If not the full cost, they are ready to pay you that. And so one will have to look at this market opportunities which is there. And because NGOs share a better rapport with their constituencies, are able to influence the ability to think amongst the people in a very, very different manner, it can definitely promote a lot of social entrepreneurs within the community. So a whole lot of organizations have come up. I'm just showcasing a few examples. Shrujan Threads of Life, which is a Kutch-based organization, works in the area of embroidery. And today, Shrujan is not accepting a single rupee as a donation. It has become completely self-sustainable. You can check it out for yourself. They engage more than 20,000 women in the handicraft sector, especially the embroidery from Kutch. And because these women are engaged in embroidery, they have brought the Kutchi embroidery to the World Heritage type of reputation which is there. Women who have been, now this organization is more than 35 years old. They have apart from helping women in the embroidery sector, they have created entrepreneurs in the embroidery sector. So women work for few years with Shrujan. polish their skills, learn about quality controls, learn about pricing strategies, learn about entering the market, get into the professional markets, and they are able to set up their own enterprises. This is the power of what an NGO can actually do. They can provide that ecosystem which is very much required by the social entrepreneurs who are working at the bottom of the pyramid. So they provide a product for a class, because handmade embroidery is expensive. So when you provide a product for the class, you're creating a lot of employment opportunities for the poor. Similarly, you have Seva, again in Ahmedabad, which is highly well known for the amount of self-employment which it has generated through its various verticals in the economy. The latest vertical they have added is Seva Rudi, which is a marketing arm of Seva, which is a for-profit social enterprise supported by Seva, which is a not-for-profit organization. You have our own, Maharashtra organization Mandeshi, started by Chetna Gala, who has done immense amount of work in promoting social entrepreneurship at the bottom of the pyramid. And towards the end of my presentation, we will look at her video about what are the challenges she faced and how did she create those independent women who are now providing employment to others, because one entrepreneur can provide employment to at least 5 people. That is the power which is there. So the sweat equity the sweat equity between a commercial entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur is the same. It's not different. The commercial entrepreneur equally has to work hard, and so does the social entrepreneur has to work. You have the famous Jaipur Rugs Foundation, which has promoted Jaipur rugs worldwide. It has become a brand which people would like to own. You have Gunj, which is into converting your old clothes into sanitary napkins and providing employment to self-help groups, and these self-help groups today have their own micro enterprises into production of sanitary napkins. Sanjeevani, an NGO which is promoting the cause of the farmers and making farmers independent, connecting the farm to the folk, that is to the table. So no longer with organizations like Sanjeevani, you will have farmers who look pathetic, because if the farmer is not considered as an entrepreneur, then I think our tragedy is very bad. So we have to consider farmer as an entrepreneur, and NGOs, a couple of NGOs in India are working towards how can we create this farmer and instill that confidence in him and create an entrepreneurial material out of him. You have Swadesh Foundation, which is again into rural empowerment, helping a whole lot of micro enterprises to sustain in this market, connecting the social entrepreneurs at the bottom of the pyramid who come from these rural economies to connecting them to the global markets. You have the Janki Devi Bajaj Vikas Sanstha, Ishanya Foundation, Dhan Foundation, the Disha Foundation, which is in Nasik, which all works in the area of creating livelihood support. They provide support to the people for a few years, but later on, these people set up their own social enterprises, and they then expand and they scale it up, providing self-employment to people and even addressing the customer's need. You have Center for Aquatic Livelihood, Jal Jivika, which is helping the fisher folk community, because because we enjoy the coastal line, and there are a whole lot of people who are dependent upon the aquatic life, and how do we create social entrepreneurship in them? How do we promote that type of livelihood in them? This organization is doing that type of work. Oscar Foundation, a couple of people may have heard this for the first time. This is the foundation which has been started with one of our own alumni, Suraj Patro and Ashok Rathod. Suraj Patro was a student of our MBA program in social entrepreneurship, and he utilized football to get children back to school. Now that was the first level of it. But today they have created football champions, and these football champions have created their own enterprises to train other people in football. So these football champions come from urban slums. They earn their livelihood by playing football, by teaching football, to the kids who come from elite economies who are there. And so these children are earning their livelihood. So using football to create a social entrepreneurship model is something which is very unique to us. You have other successful social enterprises like Lijjat Papad, okay, which is there, Pratham, Agrocell, Drishti, Basics, Sulabh International, Barefoot College, Swadhar, which is a microfinance organization, Delight. So India is considered to be a hub of social enterprises because the amount of problem that we have in India and the way in which we can get into the market driven solution, and especially with projects like Startup India or the Atal incubation centers which Niti Aayog has been promoting. We also at our institute have the Atal incubation center to promote both commercial enterprises as well as social enterprises, because the country requires both. When we talk about social enterprises, we are talking about creating welfare capitalism. It is not just a capitalism, but it is a welfare capitalism. And how do NGOs promote this whole concept of social entrepreneurship? First and foremost, that NGOs work with self-help groups. NGOs, whether it is self-help group of farmers, or it is of women, or it is of youth, or it is of disabled people, they work with a group and instill a mission in them that they can change the world for a better place. They can change their own destiny. So no longer you are dependent upon thinking that your planetary positions or your planetary stars were not good and you were born to suffer. You no longer start believing. They give you that particular confidence which is required, and whether through Mahila Mandals or to Yuvat Mandals, they try to create a social mission and address a particular problem which is there in the community. They look at it that how can my enterprise, whether I'm into making agarbattis or I'm making food products, or I'm making products like masks or sanitizers, how am I creating that social value for the world? That is something, that measure of success. Money, of course, will be there. So it is not the profits which is bothering them so much. Okay, it is the value that when an entrepreneur believes that he's creating a value, that excitement takes him to another level. And then profit is considered to be as a byproduct of whatever work that we do. So especially in the NGO sector, we find when they're promoting social entrepreneurship, at the bottom of the pyramid, it is not first spoken about in terms of profit. It is in terms of how I can change my life and how I can change the life of others. And through that, how I can create my own financial sustainability. That is the message which goes from the NGO to the people at the bottom of the pyramid when they are engaged in the social entrepreneurship activity. So you look at these people who engage themselves into a social entrepreneurship domain, that you are actually attacking the root causes of a problem. So you are looking at poverty, that because poverty is both a means and an end, okay, to our major problems, and it's quite a wicked problem. So you're making people think that you are reformers of the society. And if you consider that you are a reformer of the society, you will not get into lipstick social work. You will try to get into the hardcore areas, okay, of social work, in terms of that if my livelihood is going to be dependent on the government or is going to be dependent on somebody who can give me an employment, is that something which is acceptable to me? So they force you to think that I can create my own destiny, I can be of value to myself and to that of others, and I can change the life of people around me. So that is a very powerful message, where you're getting into not transaction, but you're getting into transformation. When an NGO provides services to its beneficiary, it is engaging into a transaction. But when an NGO changes the way of thinking of people, it gets into the social transformation which is required for an entrepreneur. The risk-taking ability, which is extremely important, is something which the NGO tries to instill amongst the people at the bottom of the pyramid. It helps them to understand that for doing business, money is not the only criteria. If money would be the only criteria, then all the programs which have been started by the government would have been successful, okay, to promote entrepreneurship. But why were they not successful? Because we never gave them the business tools. We never gave them those management tools. So NGOs are realizing this, and perhaps your investors who are investing money in the NGOs are those young investors who look at venture philanthropy in a very, very different way, where they're saying that when you're bringing a packet of agarbatti to the market, it has to be of good quality. You should do your market research, okay, to understand what quality, what is the preferences that are which the customer wants, what is the pricing that the customer will be able to afford. Are there any alternate uses of those agarbatti? Are there any augmentation that I can do with the agarbatti? So it is not that you're only teaching him, the skills of manufacturing agarbattis, but you're looking at the customer, making your businesses customer centric. Just because an NGO is producing these products, or people at the bottom of the pyramid have got into a social entrepreneurship program and they are producing the product, why should your customers buy those? Your customers are going to buy those not only because of the emotional branding that you're doing, but they are going to buy your products if it is of good quality. It is where the customers are demanding it, and it is going to help the customers in a better manner. So in a free market economy, when a social entrepreneur or an entrepreneur brings the product in the market, the challenges are the same. They are no longer different. Just because an NGO is promoting it, it might give you that emotional branding, but it does not create loyal customers. So there is a continuous process of innovation, adaptation, and learning. So NGOs who are manned with very creative people, or people who consider business as an agent of social change and also addressing social mission, will give the right amount of input that you have to continuously innovate. The day on which an entrepreneur stops innovating, then that is a time he has to take a sabbatical. The same applies for a social entrepreneur, that continuous innovation, adaptation, and learning has to happen in the whole process. So there are various forms of social enterprises which are promoted by the NGOs, right from profit to the non-for-profit. So there are certain firms which will employ only certain special groups. Let's take a social enterprise like Miracle Courier in Mumbai. It engages only the hearing handicap, because the founder of the Miracle Courier believes that to deliver your courier, you do not require to talk. You only require to read and write. You only require to be mobile. So his entire enterprise is managed by the hearing handicap people. So you have a couple of such organizations which are for-profit social enterprises, which are engaging the people from the bottom of the pyramid or from the marginalized communities, and providing them with employment, and also looking at changing the way in which the normal society looks at them. You have fair trade organizations which believe on the fair trade principles, which means that it is that you will not be using you will not be using pesticides, you will only be using organic products, you will only be promoting that, you will be paying 100% labor charges, you will have participatory mechanisms when you're dealing with your stakeholders. So you can get the fair trade branding for the products which the social enterprises are making. There are intermediary labor market businesses which are there, which provide you with the market linkage. So a social enterprise is only helping the target market to market its product in the larger society. So you have such organizations also which are registered as for-profit entity. You have charitable organizations having livelihood support as another vertical. You have cooperatives, you have associations, you have community businesses, you have community development financial institutions today existing. So there are various forms of social enterprises existing today in the world, and specifically in India. So when NGOs are assisting social entrepreneurs, okay, or creating social entrepreneurs, especially amongst the poor, they are giving you that entrepreneurial orientation, and I'm sure Bharti will touch upon it with greater detail into it. So it is not about how much education, it's not about how much experience, it is the whole thing, it is the whole perspective about, do you have an achievement orientation? Do you have that risk-taking ability in you? Are you an effectual entrepreneur, or are you a causal entrepreneur? An effectual entrepreneur will start with, he gets an instinct that this is going to work. Let's take, Poli Bhaji Kendra in Maharashtra. Couple of NGOs have that because there's a market demand for homemade food. So you have NGOs who have developed this Poli Bhaji Kendra to a very great extent, and which are doing substantial business in the city of Mumbai and Pune. You require to have that sense of control over destiny. You require to have that tolerance for ambiguity, because you're not going to get the right type of answers which are there. And you require to have that social awareness and social concern. So if these characteristics are developed amongst the poor people, definitely there is a larger scope for social entrepreneurship. And this is what NGOs are finding out, that poor have a very high risk-taking ability. It's the rich who probably may lack those risk-taking ability because they don't want to move out of that comfort zone. But definitely poor who are facing these problems are the first ones to come up with the solutions, and NGOs have encashed on the things. So the factors which are influencing NGOs to promote development of social enterprises, first and foremost, is what is the aim of the NGO? Is the aim of the NGO to economically empower people, to socially empower people? Then definitely they should have projects in those areas. And these projects to a greater extent should be managed with the business spirit, management skills. The whole concept of Atmanirbhar has again resurfaced. This concept was always there, okay, in the world, especially in India. We are a 4,000-year-old civilization. It is Krishna who gave the message of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is there. So globalization was something which is not a concept which was coined by the Americans. We have coined this through our literature review. You can find it. So the whole concept of Atmanirbharta was always existing, but it has resurfaced again, okay, in a new package which is there. And so can NGOs have their autonomy to decide, will they get the investor support, the donor support, to decide this autonomy based on not what the donor wants them to do, but based on the market research. What is it that the market wants? What type of products does it want? What type of skill set should our people have to manage these enterprises? If the organizational autonomy is higher, obviously NGOs will be able to promote social entrepreneurship. And of course, NGOs will have to partner with government, will have to partner with the CSR department of companies, will have to partner with CII, SOCHM, okay, Maratha Chamber of Commerce, and a whole range of organizations which are there to create that ecosystem. That ecosystem is something which lacks amongst most of the NGOs. So you are comfortable training people, you're comfortable writing a project proposal, you're comfortable in bringing that mindset change, but when it comes to connecting it with the market, there is something where a problem arises. And for that ecosystem is extremely important, and these ecosystem can be developed only when we network with each other. And with this, I conclude. But before I conclude, I would just like to show you the Chetna Gala's video, which is, I think, quite instrumental in supporting whatever I have stated over here. In case if you have some questions, you can ask.
Professor Rima Chopra ma'am, the moderator of the first session, I request Rima Chopra ma'am to please ask question on behalf of the participants.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the question answer session. Before proceeding, I want to compliment Dr. Meena Galliara for an excellent and very informative session. Madam, please accept our thanks for a great presentation. The first question is, how to encourage students to choose social entrepreneurship as a career path?
Okay. So as a career path, it is because it is talking about creating entrepreneurs. One is to understand that you're looking at social problems. So your first agenda is that you are looking at a social problem. You want to bring about that social change, but you also want to earn your dignified livelihood. You need to understand that, because under the NGO setup, There can be a lot of legal issues which can happen to you. You may not, as a secretary of an organization or a president of an organization, there will be, couple of legal lenses which are put on you as to how much honorarium you can take, whether you can take salary or not. A lot of uncomfortable things can start happening. So why not look at it from an entrepreneurial point of view, to look at these things and create your own enterprise and create jobs for others. So if you look at Open Defecation and a social enterprise in Pune, which is started by Rajiv Kher into portable toilets, and look at the fantastic business that he's doing. Nobody looked at Open Defecation as a marketable solution, which was there, and it was he who saw that portable toilets is the answer. Today, I'm told by Rajiv Kher that girls who get married nearby Pune in those villages, if there are no toilets, first of all, they don't want to get married, but they then tell their parents, give me a portable toilet, only then I will be able to go to that village. So that is, so look at, he has created a 300 crore business. So you can actually look at those gaps and you can take it as a career option as becoming a social entrepreneur. Second is, you don't want to start your own social enterprise, fine. But social entrepreneurs will require people like you. Because to run an enterprise, you don't require thakela people. You require equally entrepreneurial people. If you get thakela people, then you have to close your organization and probably go into art of living. That's not the thing. You require a very fire in the belly has to be there. So the team of the entrepreneurs, you can join the team of the entrepreneurs, which is extremely important. If you do not join that, that organization, then you will be killed. If you join an NGO which is traditionally dependent on donor funds and everything on the charitable approach, then you will find yourself frustrated. So social entrepreneurship has a career path in the CSR departments, okay, because CSR fund is like an angel investment fund. They are also looking at how do we create more suppliers in the economy. When the CSR fund actually belongs to the shareholders. So the shareholders are, if they want their profitability to be in place, that 2% which is going to the NGOs, they should be creating more entrepreneurs in the economy. Whether it is you are creating drivers, you're creating plumbers, you're creating carpenters, it comes in the ecosystem. So if the supply chain has good entrepreneurs who are sustainable, who are environmentally conscious, who believe in human rights, who believe you can create a very sustainable supply chain. So the CSR departments are looking at people who are entrepreneurial in nature and not just looking at the tragedy story. An entrepreneur does not look at a tragedy, he looks at an opportunity. So I may sound very crude, but when in 2004 we had tsunami, which companies benefited? It was the construction companies, it was the cement companies. Look at COVID-19, which companies are benefiting today? So for an entrepreneur, one would have to look at that opportunity and not at the tragedy part of it. The difference between a commercial entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur is a commercial entrepreneur looks at the wants of the people. What does the customer want? A social entrepreneur looks at the unmet need. That unmet need of sanitation, the unmet need of energy, the unmet need of education, the unmet need of livelihood. So you're looking at the unmet need, you're looking at the bottom of the pyramid. So you will look at subsidies, you will look at charity only as a startup investment, but you're not going to survive on that. Of course, for an NGO to become fully financially sustainable will take a lot of time. So your business plan will show how many years will it take for you to make that break even in that vertical. Also, the not-for-profit law, okay, or the legal structure which is governing NGOs is also becoming becoming an impediment today. So most of the NGOs have started their for-profit enterprises. So when you look at Shrujan, and 35-year-old organization has started a for-profit arm. So the not-for-profit does the capacity building of the artisans, and the for-profit arm will do the marketing support. So all the for-profits which have been started by the NGOs will require people with social entrepreneurship skill. Social entrepreneurship skill means your heart and your head has to be balanced, and the head has to be balanced more. God has given the head on the top of the heart. Okay. Sirf dil dhadakne se kuch nahi hoga. You will also require that business logic to be in place. So if that logic is not in place, the social entrepreneurship will not work. Okay.
Thank you very much. Next
Yeah.
question is, what is the future of social entrepreneurship?
Oh, it is brilliant. They are going to rule the world. India is a hub of social entrepreneurs. The quantum of impact investment, okay, there is an impact investment network in Bangalore. It's growing in billions. You can check it out on Google search engine. So there's a lot of investment coming in, especially you look at all the for-profit entities also. Look at Hindustan Unilevers. They have got into low-cost water filters. There's a huge market, 999 rupees mein water filter. HUL, which was so adamant, okay, was considering only the elite market, is today forced to look at the bottom of the pyramid. Look at the whole Shakti Amma case, using NGOs in order to create a distribution strategy to the rural markets. So the equation has changed. The marriage between capitalist and socialist and communist is actually happening. So earlier we would not even look at each other. Look at ITC and the whole e-Chopal experiment. You are considering this because it is giving you that competitive advantage. Companies are moving towards triple bottom line approach. Socially responsible, environmentally responsible. You have people, planet and profit. If there are no people and no planet, profit kahan se aane wala hai? So if you look at SDGs doesn't talk about profits at all. What does it talk? It talks about peace, it talks about prosperity, it talks about people, it talks about planet. Okay, it is not talking about profitability, but it is telling businesses, look at these 17 SDGs, they all give you business opportunities. A business opportunity in smart cities, a business opportunity in potable water, business opportunity in land degradation, business opportunity in health. A whole lot of range is available. So social entrepreneurship is here to stay. And probably I will say commercial entrepreneurs are also embracing it, because no commercial entrepreneur, unless he has lost it, will say, I want to, destroy the world. Okay, there is an element even of the social. What is social again has to be decided by the country. Okay, if you look at Canada, they are into OPM and all. That is not considered to be antisocial. Here we are saying OPM is antisocial. So what is social is also decided by the nation, but I believe that commercial organizations also have a bent towards the social aspect, because if they do not take care of the customers or the stakeholders, then the business is likely to lose. So if you look at a company like Ferrero, which is into cocoa products, hazelnut products, chocolates, it is the 4th largest company in the world in the chocolate sector. It is a family-run enterprise. It has not taken an IPO. But look at the sustainable supply chain. It works with small farm holders. I mean, small farmers who have smaller land holdings. The whole issue about human rights and all those things, they are handling it quite intelligently.
Thank you, madam. The last question is, what would you like to suggest or advise to potential social entrepreneurs?
I would like to advise that the potential social entrepreneurs should take advantage of incubators. The state is having a couple of incubators, and I'm sure in Chandrapur you all must be having, or at least your college should apply for the Atal Incubation Center and set up an incubation, okay, which is there, where a whole lot of young people can experiment with it. So they should incubate their ideas. They should experiment with it. So in the beginning, they might not get that success, but I believe as an entrepreneur, if 10 things you have jotted down and if 7 things are working right, don't close your enterprise because 3 things did not work right. You have to fix those 3 things. Okay, you have to fix those 3 things. As an entrepreneur is little different from a chartered accountant. With due respect to all the chartered accountants present over here, a chartered accountant will give you a warning signal that things are not working financially very well. But as a business entrepreneur, you will have to challenge the chartered accountant by saying that if a couple of things are going right, why should I be closing that? If that risk-taking ability is there in the young people, they should go ahead with it, and the academic institutions like yours and mine should create that ecosystem for them. That ecosystem is extremely important. Without ecosystem, enterprises cannot function. You require a very sustainable ecosystem to be in place. Okay.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. That's all from my side. Thank you for your helpful comments. Over to Dr. Farooq Ahmed.
Yeah, can I? Dr. Farooq, do I have time to show the video, Chitna Gala's video?
Sure, madam. If you want.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Discuss it.
Yeah, sure. I will. Yeah.
I was always a Bombay girl. Born and raised in Mumbai, 30 years back, I married to a farmer and shifted to a small village, Maswad, in Satara district. I started a goat farm with my husband. And in the village, women would ask me that we also want to buy a goat. We want to save to buy a cow. We want to do a milk business. I thought, why not start a bank? And I started a women's bank, Mandeshi Bank, a first rural women's bank. In 2012, Kerabai came to the bank. She mortgaged gold and took loan. I asked Kerabai, why have you taken loan? Do you want to pay fees for your education, for the education of your children? Kerabai said, I am not even thinking of education today. There is such a bad drought. There is no fodder, no water. And I have mortgaged my gold to buy a fodder for my animals. Can you imagine sitting in Bombay, mortgaging gold for fodder for your animals? Kerabai did that. And Kerabai said, you are educated. Don't you read newspapers? Every day, animals are being sold to butchers just because there is no water. And she questioned, will you sell your son if there is no water? I couldn't sleep that night. I shared this story of Kerabai with my husband. Next day, when I was moving in the village, I saw a board displayed by my husband saying that Mandeshi has started a cattle camp and farmers who are in need of water and fodder for their animals can bring their animals at cattle camp. I was surprised and nervous. I said, there is no water, wells are dried up, there is no fodder, how are we going to make the arrangement? Water from where are we going to bring? My husband said, people will take care of it. Imagine, within a week, 100,000 animals would come, and within a week, 7,000 farmers with 14,000 animals from 77 villages came to cattle camp. Imagine 14,000 animals. Every day they required 300 tons of fodder and 400,000 liters of water. When fodder truck and water tanker would come, farmers would stand in a queue to get a water and fodder. When I observed this queue, I questioned myself that these farmers who are growing food grains for us, these animals who are feeding milk to our children, do we want them to stand in a queue? Can you have a poor solutions to poor people? I just said this will not work. And we decided that water and fodder will be given to animal and farmer where they are placed. Support from everywhere came. Everybody supported cattle camp, including government. But the government support didn't make life easy. They made us to register the animals and farmers. They made us to prick chip in the ear of animal to monitor. Malantai came to cattle camp, and she was just entering in the cattle camp with 4 cows and buffaloes. Manager said that, show me your ID proof. Malantai was mad. She said, I have walked 35 kilometers and since last 8 hours, my animals have not drank water. And you are asking me about ID proof? I told Malantai, why don't you sit? Drink water. Malantai said, don't ask me about water, ask my animals to drink water. And Malantai argued, I am not going to allow you to prick the chip in my buffalo's ear, because when my buffalo gives milk, she never asks me ID proof. And we decided we will discontinue this practice, no chip, no ID proof. Every day we would wait for a rain, and rain wouldn't come. Monsoon passed away. Farmers were nervous. They said that cattle camp will dismantle because there's no monsoon now. Farmers said, we cannot go back home. There is no crop. There is nothing, no water. We took a decision that cattle camp will continue and extend it to the next monsoon. Cattle camp became a home for farmers and animals. Let's view how it looked like. At cattle camp, everybody is equal. Small farmers, large farmers, everybody is placed at the same place. Cattle camp became a home, cattle camp became a life. Children went to school from the cattle camp. There was an income generation activity which also happened at the cattle camp. We started celebrating festivals at the cattle camp. The first festival which we celebrated at the cattle camp was Bendur. Festival of Animals. On that day, farmers would feed sweets and snacks to animals, decorate them. When I was walking in a cattle camp, I asked Mandatai that you are decorating your buffalo. Have you had a lunch? Mandatai said, you don't know? Today is Bendur. We decorate our animals. We fast for them. We feed them. We feed them sweets and snacks, and after that we eat. Another learning, fasting for animals. We then celebrated even a national holidays. We celebrated 15th August, Independence Day of India at cattle camp and did a flag hoisting. Everybody chanted Jana Gana Mana, national anthem of India. After celebration of 15th August, Lakshmi Bai came to me and she said, I'm very happy today. I was like, Lakshmi Bai, why are you happy? You are staying at cattle camp, your children are going to school from cattle camp. She said, you know what? I have never been to the school. First time in my life, I saluted Indian flag at cattle camp with my animals.
Pushpa sir. Thank you, Meena ma'am. Hello. Thank you for such a wonderful video clip. Now moving towards our second resource person. Before we going further, I like to introduce our next speaker of the session, Dr. Bharti Jadhav. She is dedicated and experienced educator with 12 years of experience serving in the field of management education and entrepreneurship development. Currently in charge of entrepreneurship development cell and faculty member of Bharati Vidyapit Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship Development, Pune. She has published and presented papers in various national and international journals. She is the authored SLM on entrepreneurship development. May I now request Dr. Bharti Jadhav ma'am to continue with this session. Bharti ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for the very kind introduction. Hope I am audible.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Chakravorty, for giving me this opportunity. I'm really thankful. And I really appreciate the topic that you have chosen for this webinar. It is really much needed topic and the area in today's situation. So I really thanks Dr. Chakravorty for taking this webinar for today and inviting me. I also have high regards for all the panelists here. Mr. Mamidwar, who has also spoken really well and has also given us some, informative information on how to go ahead with the startups and entrepreneurship. So good morning and good afternoon to all the panelists present here. Dr. Meena ma'am, actually, who has really given a wonderful session, really very interesting inputs. And Meena ma'am, I really agree with your opinion that farmers, they are entrepreneurs. They should be treated as entrepreneurs. And that is how we can go ahead and we can really develop our Indian economy if we consider our farmers as entrepreneurs. So thank you for the nice session, Meena ma'am. Again, I really, very much excited today to share my topic. Basically, we have been hearing the words of Atmanirbhar Abhiyan since the beginning of the session, as well as these days, as well as the Indian policy of Make in India. Now, all these two, abhiyans, or what we can say, the agenda by the Indian government, are really very important in today's situations for the Indian startups. Now, due to this, I'm sure the Indian startups can really innovate and they can come forward to make this India as a better economy, as well as giving a lot of opportunities for Indian startups. As we know that today's situation is like there are a lot of restrictions due to the COVID scenario, a lot of restrictions on import also. So we really need to be Atmanirbhar, self-reliant. And in this case, again, the Indian startups, if they come forward and if they innovate, there is nothing like it. That the sky is the limit for them now in the today's situations that I see. Now, this is what I'm going to discuss in our today's discussion, that how can we start these startups and boost entrepreneurship in order to boost our Indian economy. So I'm just going to show you my presentation right now. I'll just check whether I can able to show you. Hope the presentation is visible. Is the presentation visible, sir? Not yet visible. Is it visible now? Okay. All right. Taking ahead today's discussion, as the eminent speakers who have already discussed today about Indian startups, and there is a need of Indian startups to take the economy ahead. Also, I really appreciate the kind words of Mr. Rathod sir, who has also given us some inputs about the need of startups and entrepreneurs in the areas with which we can take forward the small businesses ahead and can really make the opportunities translate into very good businesses. So this is what I'm going to discuss today, how we can take these opportunities into startups. But before that, I would like to throw some lights about entrepreneurship. So this is what my agenda today is: understanding about entrepreneurship, why become an entrepreneur, how to start a venture or a startup, and I'm also going to discuss some of the business avenues and opportunities in the current scenario of COVID-19 pandemic. So let us begin with understanding of the basic concept of what is entrepreneurship. Now, before going to the entrepreneurship, we have to first understand an entrepreneur, who is a person responsible for setting up a business or an enterprise. And the process of setting up this business is basically entrepreneurship. So entrepreneur, he is the person with initiative, a lot of skills of innovation, who looks after high achievements. Also, he is a catalytic agent. So there are various characteristics of this entrepreneurship and entrepreneur. So entrepreneur is most of the time self-confident and they are optimistic. They are persuasive. They just don't take back, but they just keep on doing the things till they get the success, till they complete their task. They are also able to take calculated risk. They are creative. They have urge for innovation. They respond positively to challenges. They are dynamic leaders. They are flexible and they are able to adapt. Now, again, this is a very, very important characteristic of entrepreneur, which we see nowadays in the current situation. Due to the COVID pandemic, we have seen that many businesses, many enterprises and startups, they are getting a lot of losses. But then the businesses who've been flexible and they started, taking some change from their earlier business, which can suit the current situation, they actually can, make money even during this time. What we see that now many businesses have started making masks, sanitizers, which was not that business earlier for them. But seeing the situation and the need of the time, they have changed their model and they have introduced new products into their business. Not only this, we see a big brand, Nike, who also has started, manufacturing PPE kits, okay, which is just a response to the current situation. So that is, the flexibility, that is the adaptability we have to, understand for the great entrepreneurs, and that only can, take your entrepreneurship ahead. That only can make your businesses sustainable. Now, most of the time, we have some questions like why to become an entrepreneur. So, very fundamental is if you are an entrepreneur, you are your own boss. You don't have to take instructions. You have no confined schedule for you. So, you can work under your control. And that is the biggest motivation, to start the venture or to becoming an entrepreneur. You can also pursue your own ideas, and as you will see, the financial rewards are also greater in case of entrepreneurship and businesses. Of course, that should be also taken care as a byproduct of your business. So understanding entrepreneurship is the ability and readiness to develop, organize, and run a business enterprise along with any of its uncertainties in order to make a profit. So this is what we understand about entrepreneurship. Now, very, very important, part of the discussion is the startup. Now, how to build a startup? We know that startups have got good potential. We know that startups can, boost our economy. But then a very, very basic question: how to start the startup? So I'm going to give you some few basic tips or steps that can help to build a startup. Now, for starting a startup, very first thing is that you need a good idea. Okay, and I think in the earlier discussion also we have got some inputs about idea. Now, this idea is there with which you can proceed further, and you can change this idea. You can translate this idea into a business. But then for that, the idea has to be very, very unique. The idea also needs to be feasible. The idea should be a solution to some problem. It just should not be a fancy idea, but it should also taking care of some need of your people, need of the market. And if the idea has that potential, then you can go ahead with this idea. Right now, for finding out the idea, you don't need to go through the books and find out an idea. You can have these ideas around you. You can see the ideas around the problems that you face, even the day-to-day problems. If you see, you will find out some ideas for the good businesses in those problems. So basically, if you come to the solution of such problems around you, that can be a very, very good idea, because ultimately the idea should be beneficial to people. And that is how you have to create the idea. And further, you have to develop your idea into a very sustainable, feasible product. And this is how you can jot down your idea and you can work upon it. You can take feedback, take suggestions from the people around you to make this idea more constructive, more concrete, and then further you can start working upon this idea. Now, once you are convinced with this idea that this idea can really solve some problem, you can start making it into a product. Right now, this product again is also need to be very, very useful for the customers. And when we say the product has to be also satisfying some need of your customer. So you have to develop this product. You have to develop a prototype first, and then you have to see how this product is working. So in the step 2, you can make your product, and you can have all the marketing mix factors associated with this product that you can work upon, that you can check about its features, you can check about its pricing, whether this pricing is okay for this product, whether the customer, your market are going to pay for this price. You can also check about its place, which is like how you can make this product available to the customer, how you can reach to the customer with your product, and also about its promotion. So you have to figure out all these strategy at this stage, along with a good team. If you have a very, very passionate team like you can really make a successful launch of your product. So you have to find out people who can work with you, who can collaborate with you, who can also take your business idea further. And of course, they also should have the passion, the same passion that you have. So finding a good team, as well as also trying to understand your market at this stage. Okay, so you should know your customers very well. You should know to whom this product is going to be useful. You have to take feedback from these people about your product. So initially you can test market your product with a smaller segment or with a smaller number of customers. So you can try and you can find out how your product is doing with this small number of customers. Now, based on their feedback, again, you can make some changes into your product if needed, and then again you can develop this product further. So this is a continuous process of taking feedback from your market, from your customers, and making changes in the product. Unless you do this, your product won't be successful in the market. If customers, they don't see any benefits in your product, they won't buy you. So whatever the features you have, those features should be compatible to your market. Those features should be useful to your market, and your customers should feel like going for your product. So this is a very, very important stage that you should understand. So once you design your product, once you develop your product with your customer feedback, and now you are also getting customers, then now this is the next stage that you can, go for the investors. With now, this is the stage that you can, create your pitch. So now you know what are the strengths of your products, what are the strengths of your business, so that now you can talk to your investors. Now these investors, if they find a really, really value in your product, they will support you definitely. And that is how now you have to move further to the step 4. Now when you see that you are going to the market, you are getting good number of customers, and now it's a time to scale your business. So again, you have to think about funding. So you can see that funding is available with various ways. Now at the initial stage of the business, it is very, very difficult to convince investors. So at this stage, you have to rely on your friends and family, the near ones, for the funding. In the later stage, you can also go for business angels or SME. As we have just now listened to Rathod sir, we have organizations like DIC who are also eager to help the startups if there are really, really good, ideas, and if they are really useful to the people. So SME and the policies of government like Startup India. Now, with this help, or with the support of all these organizations, it is very possible that you can convert your idea into a very good, feasible, viable business model. We have some case studies of successful startups that in the recent years, and these startups are also the startups by young entrepreneurs. They were the young students. So if you know Oyo Rooms by Ritesh Agarwal. So Ritesh Agarwal, he started his startup at the age of 18 years. Now, how did he get to do this venture, or what motivated him? So as I said, like ideas you have to see around you. So Ritesh, when he was traveling, he noticed that there is a problem of good, decent accommodations in a budget, okay, which can be affordable. And this is what the problem that he faced. And that time he started thinking about, finding out some solution for this. So later on, he then come up with his startup Oravel, and now that startup is a famous startup of Oyo Rooms. So this is how you can convert your, the problems that you see around, you can work upon it, and you can change it into the successful business model. There are a few more, examples in the recent years. So Planet Able is one such, startup which is recently launched by Neha Arora. Now, Neha's father is blind and mother is a wheelchair user. The traveling was very uncomfortable experience for the family. And they never enjoyed the excursions, they never enjoyed their family trips due to the inaccessibility and lack of basic amenities. So these barriers were really, got stressed up Neha. Neha realized that if as a family, if they are facing such issues, others might also be feeling the same. And at that time, there was no solution for it. So that motivated Neha to launch Planet Able, which provides accessible travel solutions and leisure excursions for people with different disabilities. There are so many examples in agriculture also. As I was listening to Meena ma'am, she quoted that farmers should be the entrepreneurs. And these farmers who are entrepreneurs, we call them as agripreneur. We have the recent example of Abhishek Singhania. Now in 2010, when Abhishek came across the news about the farmers' suicides in Vidarbha and Marathwada of Maharashtra, he was studying at that time in IIT. He was deeply pained by the situation of farmers, and would wonder about sustainable model that could keep farmers from bankruptcy and taking extreme steps like suicide. However, that time his focus was on the studies and he could not do much at that moment. But then he was keeping that thing in his mind. Even after he got the job, he was restless about this farmer situation. So he left the job and he came back. He studied the farmer's condition. He did a survey. With his survey and the study, he noticed that farmers were growing low value crops and the yield was decreasing every year. So when the input cost was increasing each year, now here the farmers, they were mostly using the fertilizers which were chemical fertilizers, and due to this chemical fertilizers the soil fertility also gets reduced and decreased year by year. So what he observed is input cost was increasing but output was decreasing, and that was the problem. So he came up with a solution of natural farming. Okay, so natural farming is something which you can do, and he actually started doing it with good quality of seeds that he got from the organic farmers, as well as he started using natural fertilizers made up of from cow dung and cow urine, and this is how he started, working on his farm with the help of this natural farming, and he tried to make this as a sustainable model. Now he is planning to spread this model across in the coming years. So basically we have to understand what are the problems around us. As an entrepreneur, we have to take the initiative to change the situation, right? So when we can change the situation with these ideas and with the problem solving solutions, you can really make this as a business, as a viable business, as a sustainable business model. So you can have one more example about greenway appliances. Now most of us know that in villages there are mud chulas which emit a lot of smoke, black smoke, which is not good for the environment, as it emits, adds to the carbon emission, as well as it is not good for the health of the women. So here, Neha Juneja, she came up with greenway appliances, and she has came up with a stove which she calls as greenway stove, which is portable, high efficiency cook stove, which works on all solid biomass fuels like wood, dry dung, crop waste, or bamboo. Now this is good for the environment as well as good for the women's health. So this is how we have to understand the opportunities in the surrounding area itself. So if we are conscious, if we are alert, if we really care about our society and environment, we definitely find out some solutions to such problems. And that is how you can use these ideas and you can make this your startups based on your ideas. Now coming to the present scenario. So as we know, due to the COVID, there is a lot of unemployment and even the current business is also not doing well. So we can see some new opportunities during this situation. As we know that we always, keep on blaming the situation. We keep on, cribbing about the circumstances. But every challenging situation gives you some opportunity. Similarly, this COVID situation is also giving opportunity to various sectors, such as EdTech. Right now, we are having the online webinar, right? Now, this is what the result of this EdTech. So during the time of social distancing, parents, they really don't want to send their children to school. So there is an option, there is a, solution for this problem is that of online education or online tutoring, web courses. Now, these are the options which can turn or which can be turned into good opportunities. So education sector is a vast sector, and this online teaching platforms also can give most of the opportunities in the coming days. Now further upcoming sector is health and wellness. Again, seeing the current whole world, which is dependent on the whole health services to fight COVID-19, this is a great opportunity for health and wellness sector to seize this opportunity. What we see now in today's situation, that people they need to boost their immunity, and to boost their immunity they really need to take care of their health and their well-being. So if you as an entrepreneur, if you come up with some such useful product or solutions which can make the immunity or which can enhances the immunity, that has got a good market in the current scenario. So we find that nowadays people are also taking help of Ayurveda, they are taking care of yoga, okay, and based on our traditional knowledge, our heritage, they are also coming up with some medicines which are based on the medicinal plants available in our own country. Also the medicines and kadas which are based on the masalas that we have in our home. So you can use this knowledge to create useful products for the people in today's situation. And if your products are really going to work, then definitely there is a market for you. So in this situation, you can look for such some good health and wellness products. It can be even some apps which can help you to take care of your good health. Also, the next area is about financial services and NBFCs. So we are now seeing that current pandemic situation is also making difficult the life of people, because they are not able to get the payment, they are not having employment, but still they are also need to manage their livelihood. So at this time, these financial services, they can be of great help. So unemployed people also they need money at very short notice, and these financial services and NBFCs who can come forward and can lend money in short notice. So that can also be a great opportunity in the current situation. The SAS and remote working tools. Again, it's an upcoming opportunity what we see. So the tools like Webex or Zoom, Google Meet, they are really helping today all of us, actually, the whole community, to connect with each other. So if you also can come up with such tools, such useful platforms which can satisfy the specific need of a specific market, there is immense opportunity in this area also. E-commerce and delivery services. Again, what we have observed during the lockdown, it is very, very difficult for people to go out and buy something. So at this time, what is useful for them is the online shopping, right? So the people who can deliver the food at even the grocery or any essential services at the doorstep, now they can also start their businesses with the help of this e-commerce. And now what we see that today e-commerce has got a good opportunities in this coming days, because people, they won't or they would like to maintain social distancing, they will still remain at home. So online shopping will definitely be a useful tool for them, or useful what we can say, a necessity for them. Now actually the recent Amazon sale of August 5th and 6th, this sale was a wonder in the history of online shopping. Now, this sale actually crossed the last Diwali sale, the last Diwali turnover. So you can see that even during lockdown, people are buying so much through online. So if you can come up with any business related to online shopping, any business related to e-commerce and delivery, if you can be any intermediary, even in between, it will give a good opportunity. There is a good scope in the coming days. So going further, now the new more platforms, OTT platform and online gaming. So people are again not going out for the entertainment. There are movie theaters are also closed. So nowadays, what we observe that mainly people are hooked to their, OTT platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime. Also, the youth are, trying to make their entertainment on online gaming. So even if, as an entrepreneur, if you come up with some more interesting, interactive, as well as useful platform or online gaming tools, there is ample of opportunities for this area also in today's situation as well as post-COVID era. Very, very important and highlighted area in today's situation is pharma, life sciences, and labs and pathology. So what we see that it's a major field that can benefit from the current scenario. And after COVID-19, most of the human population will require adequate health medicines and facilities. After the development of coronavirus vaccine also, the current pharma industry will expand with it and would need more, manufacturing units and the related industries. Also, they need more innovative entrepreneurs who can help and contribute during this period. So every person will need also some doses of vaccines. People also going for the immunity booster, what we can say, vitamin and such other supplies. So if you can come up in this field, again, there is ample of opportunity, what we see in pharma and healthcare. So this is how, though what we see today, it's a very, very turbulent situation, but then there are some fields, there are some sectors, they offer a lot of opportunity. You have to just open, be alert, and find out what can work best during the situation. One more new area is coming up in this situation is managed office spaces. People are not going out to the offices. Most of them are working from home. Sometimes they need some spaces for their meetings. So in this situation, if there are such managed spaces which are, sanitized, neatly maintained, again, there is an opportunity. There is a business opportunity in this area also. So basically what we see that it's a difficult time, but still in the difficult time, we have some, ways to manage our economy. Now, coming to the end of this presentation, what we see is even we think that COVID-19 has dealt a cruel hand for entrepreneurs. There are immense opportunities lying around us, and there couldn't be a better time to start a business for completely new products and become Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I hope this presentation and the discussion gives you some inputs, some ways, some avenues, some hopes to find out new business avenues, to find out some hopes in this period of uncertainty, and you can be, hopeful, and you can start from the scratch, start work, you can work on your idea, work passionately, and take your idea further ahead with the support system that we have around us. So this is about my discussion today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Kavita Hingane, ma'am, the moderator of this second session. Madam, please ask question on behalf of participants.
Thank you, sir. Now, audible? Before proceeding, I congratulate to Dr. Bharti Madam for an excellent and informative session and best compliment from our institute and participant of this webinar. Now,
thank you.
I proceeding to first question. There are so many challenges to the new startup in COVID-19 pandemic. Then, Madam, how to overcome with these challenges?
Yeah, actually, as I said, like COVID-19 is really posing a lot of challenges for various business. But as we see that still in all these challenges, there are opportunities, there are tremendous opportunities lying around us. So you have to find out what could be the suitable business opportunity during this phase. As I see that many of the manufacturers now they have started shifting their businesses to the current needs. Okay, so what they see is current need is the need of masks, sanitizers, and the related stuff. So they have shifted their products. They have shifted their manufacturing to these upcoming and which are needed products, and they are taking these into their new product range, and they are trying to give solutions to the current situation with the help of this. So I think if you respond to the situation positively, the challenge is no longer a challenge, rather it's an opportunity for you. And that is why I feel that though it's in a it's a pandemic situation, there are a lot of negative effects of this pandemic, but still, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are passionate to work for the society, if you're passionate to work for finding out the solution which can be helpful to your people, there is an opportunity. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Second question from the participants are there. Then what are the impact of flexible government policies on startups?
Right. So as we see that even Rathod sir has talked about DIC, and they are really very eager to support startups as well as the policies of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Make in India policies. Now, with this, government is trying to give a lot of relaxation to the startups. They are also helping with the fund availability. They are relaxing the tax things, and they're also trying to help till the startup gets successful. So we should not consider that a startup can be successful in just 2 or 3 years. It takes time, maybe sometimes 10 years. And with the help of government policies of Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, not only that, Startup India is also helping such startups to take the risk and go ahead with the idea to start their business. So definitely, right now the situation is such that there is a lot of support from the government with the help of their policies, and startups can really take that risk and can go ahead, and they will definitely get support. I think even Rathod sir can also elaborate on how DIC can help exactly in getting funds. So we can also approach him for that.
So my last question, ma'am. What is the role of business school to make successful entrepreneur?
Yes, definitely. So we are the, our institute is Bharati Vidyapit, and it's a management and entrepreneurship institute. So what we have is an Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship Development Institute, IMED. So in our institute, we definitely encourage our students to come up with some innovative ideas. Now, these institutes and the teachers are there to support the students, to give them the platform, to give them the environment in which they can think about these ideas there, and they can, work upon their ideas. They can also make plans. Okay, and such type of ecosystem, such type of environment can be provided by the institutes. Right now, most of the times during college days, students have a lot of ideas. Now these ideas, they are really, really valuable if they are taken seriously and if they are pursued. Sometimes it is not possible to pursue the idea immediately, but if the students, they take their idea in their mind even after the college and they pursue it, it can give them some benefits and benefits to the society also. So the basic role of colleges and management institutes and entrepreneurship development institute is to give them all the necessary platform so that they can come up with some ideas, so that they become confident about taking these ideas ahead, and they can make their startup ideas into real startup businesses.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your helpful opinion. Now I over the session to Dr. Farooq Sheikh.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Farooq sir, before concluding the session, I would like to know the outcome of this webinar. Actually, we have conducted this webinar. What will be the possible outcomes of this webinar? So we would like to conclude on that issue. So actually, first thing, outcome of this webinar that comes into my mind, that Atal Incubation Center. So that is a talk which Dr. Meena Galliara madam has suggested, that we will be applying immediately for Atal Incubation Center to be in the business school. That is one part. And second is being an rural institute. Actually, it is being located in a rural place. So how we can have a sort of tie-ups with Narsimunji and Bharati Vidyapit in promoting the rural entrepreneurship. So can we go ahead with such kind of MOUs or maybe some kind of exchange programs? So I request Dr. Meena Galliara madam, if she's there, she can highlight some of the core issues related to rural entrepreneurship. Is she there? Dr. Meena madam is there?
I think she left.
Okay, Dr. Bharati madam is there. So one thing is Atal Incubation Center, which comes into my mind, probably the outcome of this webinar. Second is to promote rural entrepreneurship. What IMED and our institute, LKM, can we mutually, go ahead with any ideas for promoting the rural entrepreneurship, ma'am?
Yes, definitely. See, in IMD, we have one unique activity which we carry through our entrepreneurship development cell, which we call is as community work through entrepreneurship development, CWTED. Now, with this, what our IMD students they do? They go to the community, the locality around the institute, around their homes. They understand people there. Basically, they focus on the small, unorganized businesses, right?
Okay.
Now, they are the unorganized businesses. They don't have the education. They don't have the professional qualification. They can be, the vendors or the street vendors, and they try to understand their problems. They try to figure out a solution to their problems and help them, guide them. And this is the way they mentor these small unorganized businesses. Now, this activity is been taken since we are in Pune city, and most of the students, they try to find out such small unorganized entrepreneurs around them and try to mentor them. Now, in the similar way, in your area, we can also, figure out what are the problems of the people in the villages, okay, and which can be taken further. We would try to find out solution. In my discussion also, I mentioned about some agripreneurs who have really taken these problems of the farmers seriously and tried to find out the solution for this. Now, with the tie-up, we can also make such research about understanding these problems of the rural people, and we can really try to work out the solutions for these problems. So that is, that is the thing that we can go ahead and do it.
Okay, Dr. Bharati madam has suggested actually to have a tie-ups for the unorganized sectors of rural entrepreneurship. That is one part. I think Dr. Meena Galliara ma'am has joined us recently. So ma'am, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
What I was talking about, the outcome of today's webinar. So as you have discussed during your initial talk, that Atal Incubation Center we will be going for. So that is what we are looking forward to. That we'll be applying for Atal Incubation Center in our premises. That is one part to promote the local entrepreneur. And second thing, I would like to know from you what Narsimonji and LKM Institute can have mutual tie-ups to promote the rural entrepreneurship.
So in what ways are you looking out for support? Because this will have to be taken with the vice chancellor's level, you know.
Okay, so what we intend to have, that the outcome of today's webinar will be a certain sort of what we are looking forward to both the management institute as we are located in a rural part of India.
Right.
So there is a problems of rural entrepreneurship, as you are talking that farmer should be considered as an entrepreneur actually. So in India it's an apathy that we still farmer is not being considered as an entrepreneur.
Right.
But if you look around in our place, there is a lot of clusters coming up. Like a lot of farmers is being turned up into setting up a rice mills, dal mill and whatnot.
Right.
So what we intend from your part, that can we have some kind of collaboration either through maybe a faculty exchange, maybe a student exchange, or some other, maybe we will be we will be applying for the Atal Incubation. So we want you to, kind of mentor for Atal Incubation Center.
Sure.
That is what I am looking for. So how Narsimonji can go?
So for the Atal Incubation Center, I can personally help you because I had written the proposal, and that is the thing. Even Atal Tinkering Labs are there. So if your organization has schools or something, you can even consider having Atal Tinkering Labs for the school level. But incubation center, they will definitely promote. What they require is 10,000 square feet space. That is one of their conditions. So that condition has to be satisfied, and plus a proof of concept that your alumni are entrepreneurs. So we had collected all that data, so we can help you with that. That should not be a problem when you're preparing your proposal. So that can be done. Second is, if you can officially write to us, I can share the Vice Chancellor's email ID and what type of support you're requiring. Definitely we would take it up over there. And plus, we have a very strong alumni network, which is Section 8 company. We have registered as a Section 8 company where there are a lot of alumni entrepreneurs, so they can also mentor. A lot of things you require is a hand-holding support, which is required, so you can, so we can provide you with access to that also. So I can connect you with our alumni network, and then those alumni who are for the last 30 years, 40 years have successfully sustained their enterprises and are doing good. Definitely they would like to mentor other enterprises, which are there. So we can connect you with that.
Okay, madam. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Farooq.
Thank you, sir. It's my immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of Saulina Kishore Mamidwar Institute of Management Studies and Research, Kosara, Chandrapur. We are highly thankful to Honorable Shri Rameshwant Mamidwar, sir, renowned Chartered Accountant and Vice President of Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandal, Chandrapur, for his presidential address and spent his valuable time for extremely busy schedule for this webinar. We are very much thankful to Honorable Shri Swapnil R. Rathod, General Manager, DIC, General Manager, DIC Chandrapur, and Chief Guest of the program for his valuable time from his busy schedule and shown live project which actually working in our area. We are very much grateful to Dr. Meena Galliara, Speaker of the program, for sparing her valuable time from her busy schedule and connect with us the social enterprises. Thank you, ma'am. We are also grateful to Dr. Bharti Jadhav, Speaker of the program, for her valuable time from her busy schedule and guide us on the startup and enterprises. Thank you, ma'am. We are also very much thankful to Honorable Dr. J. Chakravorty, sir, Principal of the Institute, for organizing such informative webinar for the student and new entrepreneurs. We are also thankful to all the members of organizing committee of this webinar and the entire participant for esteemed presence. Thank you so much. You can switch off all the. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting. Okay, thank you.
It's always our pleasure, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.